Welcome to my studio. I'm Debbie Tribble of Dreamweaver Quilting. Thanks for joining me for another Tuesday's Tiny Tip. Today we're going to just make a quick mention of a couple good sewing habits that will save you some frustration in the end. We often don't pay attention to where our thread tails are, and we create our own problem with bird's nest. On the Longarm, I can easily prevent one common cause of bird's nest by simply holding the thread tails secure as I begin to stitch. The needle thread path can be properly set up and tensioned correctly, and the bobbin case can be properly installed with appropriate tension. However, if the thread tails are not secure as the stitching begins, a possibility of a bird's nest is created. Follow these suggestions to help avoid a bird's nest. Position your sewing head where you wish to begin. Use a single stitch to allow the needle thread to engage with the bobbin. Then use the needle thread to floss under the hopping foot to pull the bobbin thread up and through the stitching hole. Pull both threads, needle, and bobbin to one side and hold to secure while taking a few stitches to anchor your threads. Once the threads have been stitched and are secure, you can cut the thread tails close to the quilt surface. No bird's nest. When you have completed your stitching, anchor by taking a few close stitches, then move the machine head. This will allow slack to form in the thread. Reposition your machine head to the last sewn stitch, taking a single stitch to pull up the bobbin thread. Notice as you pull the bobbin thread this time, it appears as 3 threads. The bobbin thread is looped due to the anchor stitches. Give a good tug to ensure that the bobbin thread has been pulled taut. Clip your threads close to the quilt surface. This will ensure the back of your quilt is clear with no dangling thread to create a bird's nest. Well, I'm back at the sewing machine now, and I just wanted to give you a little tip to help your stitches when you're piecing look a little nicer. I have threaded properly my machine all the way through the needle positions. I had the presser foot up as I went through the tension disc, so that's properly engaged, and the bobbin case is inserted correctly. So as I lower the presser foot and I begin to sew, I have a little scrap of fabric underneath my presser foot so that I don't get any thread gobs right there at the beginning, and I just now can lift my presser foot and insert my first piece to be sewn right under that, and I could just continue doing this piece after piece after piece. But to show you, now I can have another little piece, and I'll fold it over so it's a little smaller, and I'll just stitch right on onto it, and I'm going to clip the betweens. I can go back and clip this off, but do you see I don't have any thread gobs right there at either, no thread gobs here or here, because I had something to sew on, and that'll just make for cleaner sewing. Well, that's it for today. I hope you find this information useful in your sewing journey. Join me again next week for another tiny tip.